Now, this will not be your typical video where I teach you how to optimize prompts or build out custom GPTs. I will be showing you real world examples of where I install AI into people's businesses to help them save time and money. But some of the concepts or even acronyms you may not be familiar with, so don't stress, but I do think it is important that you know it so you can at least go off and do your own research. So if you're not keeping up, it's okay. I will be taking this video and I will put it on my landing page and you can access it at ai.trademagnet.com.au. Righto, let's get into it. So I get asked by people all the time, like, how can I install AI into my business? But I don't think that's the right question. I think you should ask, how can I get AI to replace some of the manual processes in my business? It's really a different way of thinking, is to how is AI going to help me rather than just AI holistically is going to change my life. So this is why I built the AI Blueprint, and it's about teaming up with businesses to analyze and audit their entire processes and see where AI best fits to help save time and money. So g'day, if you have no idea who I am, my name is David List. I am the founder of Trade Magnet, which is an AI automation and app building agency. We typically work with construction and trades businesses to do exactly that, install AI to help them save time and money. I mean, it's on the label. So what I wanted to do in this video is show you the typical life cycle of what I see when it comes to installing AI in people's businesses. So we start with AI automation, we go to AI agents, then we go to knowledge bases, and then custom software, and the new kid on the block, which is AI OS, or AI operating systems, which I won't get too much into, but you should know about it. It's coming. All right, before we get into any of this, you will be seeing a platform, and I want to let you know about it because I absolutely love it. There's several reasons, is because it's really easy for people like me to work with and help build automations with. But also it's open source, so if you have an IT department, you can ask them to install this locally so that you can have data sovereignty. So I install this for my clients on Australian servers so that they've got peace of mind that none of their data is kind of moving offsite. Okay, with that out of the way, I just thought you should know that. Let's get into the very first thing, and that is AI automation. AI automation really is about taking like existing automations and inserting a bit of AI into it. And typically we do this because you have dynamic data that you want to kind of reconstruct. And AI is really good at that. So I want to show you an example. So this is a typical automation that we have. Honestly, this is the workhorse of what we do at Trade Magnet, is just automating little processes for people that honestly save them so much time. So I suppose I should break down exactly what an automation typically is without AI. It's usually taking an input on the internet and then producing an output with it, whether you reconstruct the data or not. So think of something like filling out a form on your website and then taking that information and creating maybe a job and job management platform, maybe in your CRM, sending an email, whatever it is, just insert your platform of choice. Then AI automation is where we take that and we kind of insert AI so that we can, like we said, analyze some dynamic data. And this one is a really good example because it's solving a problem where typically a lot of tradesmen receive jobs via email, and it scrapes that email and then will process it and then create, in this instance, it's going to create a job in ServiceMate. I use ServiceMate all the time. That's why I'm using this. But like I said, insert your platform of choice. So I'll just show you exactly what this particular email looks like. So this comes from Tapi, which is a property management platform, and a lot of agencies, like property agencies, use this, and then they send it off to tradesmen. And it's really annoying for a lot of them because they receive 20 of these a day. They're going to manually process them. So what we do is we take this, and this one's interesting because it's got a link. So we kind of programmatically like click this link, and this is what it would look like to a human, but for an AI, it will scrape all this data. And it's really important to note that a lot of this data is like dynamic. So a lot of the agencies will kind of, instead of having a picture where it's meant to be an attachment, it might be in the body here, they'll put some of the tenants in weird places. So that's why we use AI. So coming back to the automation is, it will scrape everything out and then it will add it into this agent, and we give it a prompt. just like you would prompt a normal ChatGPT. And you would say to it, basically, you're going to receive this data. It's going to be about this. And we're going to push that data back out into a structured format that we can then use. So then we take that and we go and create the job. So it would look a little bit like this. So here is the job and it's got all the information in it. So we've summarized everything. And here we've got kind of like notes. It even sent an email off to the agent to say, hey, we received this. It's in our system. So pretty cool stuff. Oh, and it actually extracted that video out, which is kind of cool. So that is AI automation at its core. But now let's go on to AI agents, where we typically see the next generation move on to. So AI agents is really kind of taking that concept, but letting the AI reason over the input. So you give it a bunch of outputs, like I said, your job management platform, CRM, emails, and say, you have these tools, you reason over what the input is. So here is, this is the simplest AI automation, by the way. You can have sub-agents. You can do a lot of cool stuff. And if you really want to go and research, there's a great platform called Relevance AI. If you want to go and see what they're doing over there, they're fantastic Australian business. But basically, you have a chat input. We connect it up to a model. Here we're using a OpenAI's flagship, GPT-5. And then we're actually connecting up just the jobs from ServiceMate. So it's a tool that we give it access to. And if you want to get deeper, you can give it some memory. But right now, it's just a very, very basic thing. So you can see I was testing with it before, but let's just ask it a question because we know it. And you would set this up typically like a delegation of your tasks. So here we know that this is connected to our jobs, and we're going to ask a question. Can you please check the jobs for this week? Now I've been getting some really interesting results, particularly with ChatGPT, because the reasoning models look at the input, like the data it gets back, and says, well, what do you want to do with it? So some of these LLMs or large language models are really, really getting really clever, or at least they're seemingly getting clever. I don't know. So you can see what's great about N8N is that you can see the data that it's actually like using. So it's gone off to ServiceMate, and you can see. So I check ServiceMate, you've got 7 jobs scheduled for this week, and you can see it goes in here, it's connected to it, and then it says notes and recommendations. So this is the level that you can get at, and honestly, this is very, very simple. Okay, so let's move on to something a little bit more advanced. And that is knowledge bases. And this is kind of a really hot topic. People love the idea of being able to put all of their company knowledge into something and then actually using that on the other end. And this is where we use things like concepts like RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation. It's really about chunking down your data into usable parts that the LLM can then reason over. Okay. So you would be familiar with putting a document into ChatGPT, and very big document, maybe several, and it kind of hallucinates, doesn't give you the right data. It's not reliable. It's because you're filling up the entire context window. And even some of the other platforms are trying. So some of like Notebook LM, you may be familiar with from Google. It's trying to do a lot of this stuff, but it's just not built for scale. And this is where we build custom solutions using RAG. So this is an automation that I produced, and it was really a proof of concept. I put this out on social media and it kind of went crazy. So I knew that people loved the concept. And it is complex, but let's just break it down. So in the blue is really the document ingestion. Uses a couple of different kind of methods here. So we kind of add the documents to our Google Drive. We go off and we extract them depending on what type of document it is. We've got Excel spreadsheets, CSVs, and stuff like that. But here I've added a little bit of an extra step. So if we've got PDFs, which is a lot of people have PDFs in their business, we use an OCR extraction kind of method that uses AI and structures it for LLMs and chunks it. When I say chunks, it's literally what you're thinking. It takes the actual a chunk of that text and puts it into a database and then does what's called a vectorizing it with embeddings. Take all of those things and put that into ChatGPT and figure out what it means later. Okay. And then this is familiar here. So this is our AI agent. So now that we've installed it, it's chunked, it's vectorized using embeddings. We can then go ahead and chat with it, and we can say like, what parts of my business, or I don't know, whatever you want to know about your business. And you can even ask it like, what documents do you have available? Stuff like that, right? I was using this for like AS3000, some technical documents and stuff like that, just for testing. And it worked really well. But that kind of leads into my next question, my next kind of stage, sorry. And that is really about like creating software around these different concepts. And this is where I started building out Standox. So Standox is really what you saw before was document ingestion, but building it out into a custom software. Now it's currently in development, but really this could be insert your own processes and build out your own software. Okay. So this particular software is taking that concept and allows me to ingest things like the National Construction Code, which everyone loves. Because I can't believe how big this thing is. It's like 800 pages for one volume, and there's 3. I thought AS3000 was crazy. Anyway, so here is me talking with the actual agent. So I've designed all this from scratch, right? And I'm kind of asking it about different concepts. I love this because I've added in citations, and it's really important for technical documentation that you have a source of where it's actually gotten its information from, because I see a lot of the time that a lot of people are unsure about like what it came from. And AI, like LLMs, are never going to be perfect. So when it does hallucinate, you can be like, oh, why did you even pick that part of the document? Okay. So that's why I think this is really important. But what's great about this particular software is it's going to highlight the chunk that it received it from. Okay, so it analyzes like, oh, I received this chunk from here. And here I think I was asking it about like adult changing facilities, obviously. Actually, let's see what I asked it. So here I've added this thinking thing. Oh, okay. So circular access dimensions for adult changing facilities. It was a random pick, but anyway. Now you might look at this and go like, what? This is so beyond what I can do, but actually it's very accessible. So here is a platform called lovable.dev. You may be familiar with it. There are other platforms out there, app building platforms. Other ones that are really good are bolt.new and Base44 more recently people are using. So you can see that I've used like a very basic prompt here. It says I run a construction business and I just need access, like the ability to track timesheets for my employees and contractors, and a couple of other stuff here. Like it's very simple prompt. And I chucked that in and it came out with this, like literally a one shot. Okay, so if you're seeing this for the first time, you can create this right now. I want to preface this by saying that this is not typically a good way to deploy software. I typically get my clients to build out MVPs with this stuff because structurally and security, when you're deploying this with security, you want to make sure that it's all set up correctly. But it's an amazing tool to use for just internal MVPs, or if you want to even just show concepts for people instead of using PowerPoints, just use this. Like it's crazy. So here we got a dashboard, we got, logging their hours, timesheets, whatever you want to add. And you just need to use natural language down here to prompt and actually build out this particular application. So that's really the entire sort of life cycle of AI that I currently see within my business. And like I said before, the concept of AI OS or AI operating systems is really combining all of these different things and creating a way to actually access them, whether it's in software, whether it analyzes it via AI chatbots and things. So you don't need to really know about it now, but it is coming, okay? So if you are interested in anything that I've spoken here now, go over to the landing page, ai.trademagnet.com.au, and you'll be able to see some of the concepts that we spoke about, and you can get in touch with me to actually get started with your blueprint. So I hope you've learned something about AI today, because I'm really excited about how this is going to change businesses throughout the entire world. It's crazy.